How are we doing? Who's over here crushing SPX or SPCX? Sorry. I know I am. What a nice move today, and some good trades coming off of that. One from yesterday, three more from today. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Type a 7 in chat if you don't know who I am, Nate G. I've been on twice so far. This is my third one. But mostly the other two, I've just been kind of coming in, making some trades, kind of talking about what's going on. I'll introduce myself. My name's Nate G. I am not Nate B. But I'm a close second. No, I'm a distant second, I guess I should say. That sounds a little cocky, doesn't it? I'm here in DPL almost every day. I help do some teaching, some trade ideas, etc. I've been trading with Nate for at least 10 years now, I think. He was my OG mentor. He was my OG mentor with being the one that actually helped me find traction when I was learning. I tried a couple of different mentors or teachers, and Nate was the one that resonated with me the most, mostly because he's got a soft voice for radio, and he is patient as all get out and will say the same things over and over and over until you understand them. And that resonated with me. His style resonated with me, and I've been following him ever since. And now, obviously, trade with him. And I still trade the TPS system, which you were learning today. But I also do a lot of my own edge, which is sniper trading, which is what we're going to talk about today, and how to use sniper trading to trade the SPCX. I always mess that up because I'm used to saying the SPX because I trade the SPX quite a bit. If you were part of the my session yesterday, we were, and there's going to be a lot of lines on this chart, so please forgive me. We were looking to set up a trade yesterday in SPCX as it came into the point of control. Let me get rid of these gamma lines. As we came into the point of control here yesterday, I'll circle that. We set up a trade of the 135s for this week, August 14th, which was more aggressive. And we did take a dip. I added and was holding through here because it wasn't breaking that level with very much force. And then obviously this morning we gap up a little bit and start our run. Took that off for a nice win. Because it was original position and then an add. And that was more of a TPS style trade, right? We looked for this spike up, this consolidation. We were playing it for a continued move up. And then today, the session for right now is about using the sniper style of trade to trade the SPCX, right? The SPCX. And what we are doing today on these new individual trades, right? We took our profits on the swing trade overnight, and now I've been watching SPCX all day, and other than a little bit of a pullback this morning, we've been, as you can see, above VWAP the whole time. And so when a name is above VWAP, it's hard to make trades on a reversal. And so a sniper system, which I've been over a little bit, is generally a reversal type trade. Yes, I do have the sniper study for a toss, and I'll get into that kind of towards the end, right? But when the Sniper Pro system generally is looking for reversals, and you can see that down here. We haven't had anything in the oversold category. We've just been overbought on the 1 minute as we go up, and let's make sure I have that right. Yeah, it's on reversal. So if something is trending, which is exactly what is happening here with SPCX, if we're getting a trend, then we don't want to be trying to catch reversals. We don't want to be taking a lot of put trades. We want to be taking calls and taking them into this momentum that's moving up. And one of the ways we can do that is by, if we're holding VWAP all day and moving up, we can switch this sniper system into a trend up, which is only going to give us our signals, our buy signals for moves higher, right? And so as you can see, the first trade I made today, and let me pull up my actual trade log here. The first trade I made was off of VWAP right here, right? So you can see we had pushed up. It looked like, we had gapped up. We had pushed up and pulled back. And I look for levels to take these trades off of, right? And we were coming into VWAP for a quick VWAP touch. You can see right there. We got a trend up signal right there. And we're off to the races. Took that trade. That one was a I took that one for 60%. That was a great trade, and I let that one run a little bit because it was something that was that just had a lot of great momentum, right? So that one was a 60. Then we come into VWAP again, right? And we get a signal down here. Right, we come into VWAP, we touch it, we get a signal, right? Take a call trade and run that up into our new our target, or this previous high here. That one I believe was 43%, right? And then I'm just kind of watching it, trading other things, looking around, and right before coming on the mic, we had come up and spiked. Nate also took this trade, or similarly took this trade. We were consolidating in this gap right here in this space. We got a signal on the trend up. We got a confirmation on the turn. And then this moved up. And right as I was coming into the room, I took that off for another 30%. So just sniping the SPCX today off of this trend up, off of these signals, we did 60%, 43%, and 30%, right? So, and this could be setting up for more. In general, we can take both calls and puts in this using the sniper system, but this thing is just trending up, 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 up. I'm going to wait and see if another setup comes where we can get a little bit of a dip and buy that reversal off of a level, right? I'm not going to just take a trade just because I'm getting a signal. I want to take it off of a level. So you can see the level here was VWAP. The level here was also VWAP. And then this level here was a touch of a previous high. So that target line is a little bit off in the sense that that was our original target from the trade we took yesterday. But if I draw this line from this previous high, if I just move it down a little bit, we can see that we came in and we touched that, and then we started moving up and we got ourselves a signal. So that was an appropriate retest of a previous high that I could justify taking another trade off of. Does that make sense? So we'll see if something else sets up here. We also have the gamma exposure levels for SPCX here today. The 135 level is still the biggest gamma exposure level right now for expiration this week. One that is growing pretty significantly is the 150, right? So I'm going to put a markup here at 150. And I think by the end of this week and into next week, we're pushing up into that 150 level. There's if we go out one more week on that gamma exposure, that 150 level is the biggest. So I think that's going to act as a magnet. I think that's where most traders think we're headed. And I wouldn't be surprised if we hit that by Friday, frankly. But you never know. You can have a pullback happen at any time, right? Piece of news comes in, whatever. Walter, yes, I am recording this one. I forgot to record yesterday's, but I am recording this, and we'll post it to up to YouTube. So yeah, good questions here. So the indicator that shows the sniper setup is this one down here at the bottom. A couple people have put the NateBot in there with a link to that if you want to get that. Right now we have with SPCX being the ticker of the week, we have gamma exposure lines for SPCX. Those are part of the free week that you get with that, and they won't be there all the time. Most of the things that we have are the Mag 7 and all the indices, right? Because those have expirations that are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then obviously the indices have expirations on every single week or every single day of the week. So a sniper is generally a 0 DTE option. Obviously here with SPCX, we are using this Friday's expiration, so they're a little bit more expensive. But that's okay because we've gotten some nice movement out of those today, right? And Decliff, yeah, I'm using, generally when I'm buying the option, I'm buying at the money. So roughly a 50 delta, right? Could be 45, could be 55. I'm usually buying that 50 delta kind of right at the money. That's a great question. Yeah, Lars, so the SPCX ones were for 814. Normally I would, like, if I'm trading the SPX, I'm trading that in 0 DTEs for today, right? So with the SPCX, I wasn't quite as worried about theta because we can really, theta's not going to chew you up until Friday. Friday there'll be 0 DTEs, so I'm sure I'll be trading SPCX quite a bit on Friday as well as a sniper type play. Yeah, I can definitely explain gamma exposure a little more fully. What gamma exposure is in these lines, and you can see, I can kind of get rid of, now that we've talked about them, these lines here, and my buy lines for today. I put those in there before I came on the mic so that I could, kind of easily show you where those trades came from and where the setup happened from that signal. The reason I didn't trade the previous one, somebody was just asking that, is you're looking for a signal that then also gets a confirmation turn in the histogram, and this one happened a little early, and it was a little bit below the level. It just didn't seem like a good signal in which to take an entry. So I just skipped it, right? Sorry, there's a lawnmower going outside my window, so you might hear that as I'm trying to talk over it. Gamma exposure are the strikes, the largest strikes of total open interest in the options market. So the gamma exposure levels, like a call resistance level or an absolute gamma level, for me there are 4 major levels that I watch: a call resistance, an absolute gamma, a put support, where's down here, put support, and then 0 gamma. So put support is the largest concentration of puts, right, within that expiration. So in the SPCX's case, that's the 814s, right? In a 0 DTE, it's that day. That's the largest concentration of open interest of just puts. The calls is the largest concentration of calls, right, at the 140 strike in this case, and then the puts are at the 120 strike. These will and can act as support and resistance, right, upper and lower levels, kind of like a value area high and a value area low for volume profile. And the absolute gamma level is the largest level of exposure with calls and puts combined. Okay, and that's probably the most important level that I watch, is that absolute gamma level, because that acts as a magnet, because market makers need to hedge their position. So every time you buy an option or a stock, generally there's always a seller on the other end. Sometimes that's another person, but most times it's a market maker. Market makers are providing that quick liquidity so you can buy and sell and get in and get out whenever you want to, in theory. And so the market maker on either sides of those takes that trade and then has to hedge that trade by making sure their portfolio is delta neutral. Delta and gamma are 2 option Greeks that affect the price and the movement of that option. So when there's a lot, they're having to take the opposite side of the trade, and a lot of people are trading into, like, they're trading the 135 strike for today, or in this case, for Friday for SPCX, then they have to hedge that position to stay delta neutral. And they use gamma exposure to do that. So a large level, like the 135 of gamma exposure, will act as a magnet. Now, this is this morning's gamma exposure. That is now shifting a little bit. So if I go to SPCX, God, why do I keep doing that? If I go to SpaceX, now on Friday's expiration, the 150 strike is the largest strike, right? So when this gets updated here at 130, that largest strike, absolute gamma level, will be up here at 150. And so that will continue to act as a magnet until we come up into that level. Once we get into one of those levels, then we have a situation where at each one of those levels, gamma, which controls the acceleration of delta, is its highest when we're at that strike. So generally, market makers will hedge into that strike, and as we reach that strike, they won't have to hedge anymore, or they'll need to shift the direction of their hedging. So those levels, those larger levels, will act as there'll be a reaction out of those levels. And so, in many times, we're trading without that sort of information, right? And we say, oh, look, this sort of bounced in this area, but why did it bounce in that area? There's no real clear level. Well, what's happening underneath that we can't see is there are gamma exposure strikes that have a lot of open interest, and that hedging is happening at that strike, and we're getting a reaction out of that, whether that's a reversal from the downside back up or from the upside down, right? So when we talk about making a trade into, let's say, IWM here, let's say we had taken a put trade from the GEX4 level and we've taken it down. Now we're coming into call resistance and a VWAP. There's probably going to be, at least temporarily, a reaction out of that area. So usually if we're taking a trade from here to here, we're taking puts and then we're flipping them out for profit at this next level because a reaction is potentially possible, right? You can see as we bounced here, IWM is a great example. Obviously, hindsight, it's easy to see, but IWM sold off, came down into this zero gamma level, actually touched it twice, came down into the zero gamma level and then bounced. Where did it find its first level of resistance? VWAP, but also this call resistance level at 302. Right? We do have the sniper for toss. You can get it for toss as well. I'm just showing TradingView right now. Amy, 3 arrows before was also a touch of previous high. Would you explain why you waited? We're going back to SPCX here. Look at this. This thing is just crushing right now. So the previous high, you're talking here. You're talking about this trade right here. Is that the one you're talking about, Amy? Oh, wow. I was way back in chat. My fault. I was trying to catch up. Patrick, to find the Sniper Pro on TradingView, it's a paid indicator, so you have to have a subscription to it, and then you're given access to it. Right, so you get access to the Sniper Pro and you get the gamma exposure levels because they're both a part of the whole system. I know it could go get that. It could go get that 150 today. That would not surprise me one bit. Now, this would have been a great little trade up, like a little 1 minute squeeze right here. You get your signal, boom, in your trend up. But I was busy kind of flipping around between other charts and whatnot. Your absolute gamma is at 150. Let me see if the auto update clicked in. It hasn't for me yet. It should be updating right now, Matt, and so it'll probably say 150. I just don't see. I haven't, because I'm on the mic. I haven't seen if that has updated correctly yet. I'm checking now. It's in the process of updating right now. So there's not really another trade here on SpaceX at the moment. Obviously, we might get a little bit of a reversal as we continue to work our way up, but we can watch this for another trade leg up. Let's see on a larger time frame chart what we're coming into. I think they're right before 150. We should see, some traffic from this area right here. And probably a little bit of a resistance from that 147 level. Yeah, and I haven't checked it, Sugar Doc, just because I'm on the mic. But I'm imagining this should update here pretty soon for everyone. Coach Rogers, what's up, man? Yeah, hey, have you been sniping the SpaceX since that's the ticker of the week? This trend up has been fantastic. Ironbird, no, I don't necessarily wait for a cluster of arrows. It kind of depends. You can switch it. You can look at a 2-minute chart and get, kind of a cleaner signal sometimes. I know a lot of people, I know like Coach uses the 3-minute. I toggle between the 1, 2, and the 3-minute. I know Alpha D uses a combination of a 1, 2, and 5-minute. It all just comes down to preference, right? What I usually trade, because I have, experience using this, is instead of switching, trend up, trend down, I just have most of my charts on the scalper setting. And the scalper setting shows you all of the potential reversal areas. Now, the problem is, you don't want to go in and just start taking every single one, because if you're not at a certain level that makes sense, then you're probably going to end up chopping yourself up over the course of the day, right? Because as you can see now, we have so many sniper signals all over the place, and not all of them are going to work, right? So, for beginners, I typically recommend moving into the reversal setting. And just taking when you're clearly in an oversold or overbought position, and you get a clean arrow with a color change in the histogram. That's typically what I recommend until you're comfortable knowing, okay, I know which signals I'm going to want to take and which signals are just kind of going to be noise, so I can look at the scalper setting and I can see everything, right? So if we come into something like Apple, right? Apple's kind of weak today. It's been below VWAP. I could argue taking a put trade here at 0 gamma and VWAP, right? I'm not going to do that at the moment. But most of these Mag 7s, other than NVIDIA, are kind of weak today. Before I came on the mic, I was in Tesla on a put trade into this VWAP. And as you can see, it just chopped and chopped and chopped and chopped and chopped. And I was still in it. But as I came on the mic, I was like, okay, I have to put, a protective stop in. And then, of course, it came up. It wicked out my protective stop for a loss and then went the direction I thought it was going to go. Had I not been coming on the mic and been able to watch it, I probably would have just left my stop as a visual stop and not a hard stop. But that's one of the levels. VWAP is one of the levels we like to take trades off of. And then also you can see there's a pretty large point of control level there. When you get two levels that come together, that's when you can really feel confident that there's going to be some level of reaction out of that area, right? And so I started that trade on this 2-minute signal here, right? And that's the scalper. So let's see here. Sorry, I'm getting a call from my child, which is like, okay. Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. Okay. So, oops, I don't want to do that. I want to do the scalper, right? So the scalper is showing you a lot of signals, and the reversal is showing you, a cleaner signal. So that's where I started that trade, and it was just holding that level, but it wicked me out before I came on the mic. Unfortunately, right now that'd be a nice little profit. Sadly. Yeah, well, it's a matcha latte now. She's helping out at a volleyball camp today, and she just has a lot of questions. So I think our 10:30 update is trying to process at the moment. That's why I just got that. That's why I just got that dialog box that popped up. Let's see if we can find an actual trade to make here. Yeah, I don't see anything setting up just now. But what we could do is watch for another move higher here on the SpaceX, right? And we try and catch that. I'm going to load up on SpaceX, and when I say load up, that means just put the option into my active trader. I'm going to look at the 146s. So those are loaded up and ready to fire if I get a signal here on another turn back up. Yes, this is Sniper on TradingView. We also have it for toss. I can show you what that looks like. It looks like this. The gamma exposure levels are down here. They for toss in my toss chart they're not updated today, but you can see down here is the Sniper on toss. And then this is the SPX. SPX is up here, so those just need to be updated. But yes, we have it for Thinkorswim. Okay, let's see if we can find something to do. I don't want to change too much here because this update is trying to happen. Yeah, there's been no real momentum on the indices today. There's been a little bit of movement, but it has not been a great day on the indices. And the nice thing is here, I'm in here for this kind of a trading. It's kind of neat because the way DPL has evolved is Nate and his TPS system are like the foundation for all of this. And I still trade a lot of TPS. So does D-Man. And then we have, I'll put in these, quick. We're about to get a signal here. I'll put in these, quick 5 to 10 minute trades into chat. D-Man will be scalping something using volume profile. But then in many cases, we're all playing the same chart and getting in, Nate Bear's getting an entry off of, a point of control. I'm watching and getting an entry off of, we're playing a 30-minute TPS chart, and I'm getting an entry on a 1-minute sniper for that same chart as it drops into maybe a gamma exposure level. D-Man is scalping it off of volume profile levels to get his entry, but we're all playing the same thing, right? And having people in here that, know what we're trading, know why we're trading it, and are also trading themselves. Good ideas come in all the time, and it's great. Well done, Chris. Well done. Love to see that. Okay, so we're getting a signal here. I want to let this 1-minute candle print, so that signal prints. So it's not a guarantee that this is going to work out, but that's about to close in 8 seconds, 7 seconds. So I'm going to get into the 146 calls for a continued move up. Now, for me, what I'm waiting to see, okay, those gamma exposure levels have finally updated. I've been working on automating those, and it takes about twice as long from a time perspective than when I do it myself. But it's pretty interesting that it can all be automated like that. So what I want to see now, right? We've got our trend up signal happening here. Right? We're into the trade because that's printed. We have a new 1-minute candle going. And what I want to see is a color change in the histogram like we've seen here, right? And price continue to kind of drift up. My stop would be is if we break this level. Okay? Now, this one is just mainly because I'm on the mic. Is a little bit more dangerous in my opinion because we are not at a clear level. I mean, we're somewhat at a previous high level that was just there for a little bit. We've popped through, we're retesting it. So what could happen is this could start to roll. So I am ready in case that happens to stop out. And because I've had 3 massive wins so far on SpaceX today, if that turns over and I take a small loss, I'm totally fine with that. Very rarely do you get, let's say you play a name 4 different times during the day, very rarely are all 4 of those going to be winners. This is a scalping strategy, right? So, this one is working for the moment, but we are prepared to take losses and not have them affect us emotionally when we're doing these sniper trades. So here in this case, this is going to start moving up, so I'm going to monitor that. I think our new gamma exposure levels should be coming through. I don't know why they're not here, but I could always just delete that. Let's see if it thinks there's new ones. Okay, that absolute gamma level has moved up to that 140, right? We have a 146 level that we just bounced off of. So I'm guessing, oh, there you go. 150 is now call resistance, but there's still the 140 level, which is a little bit bigger going into the end of this week. But you can see how the midday update, those gamma exposure levels can shift. And the reason they've shifted up is because price has moved up and more activity has happened at these higher strikes. Right? That's why those move. Does anybody have any questions on that? Linda, is that question for me or someone else? Maybe for Coach? Snipe Central. Yep. So remember I said that, could be a good place to take a put trade on Apple out of zero gamma and VWAP. Would have worked out great. Right. So you can see there's just tons of these potential trades. Oh, a little flush there on Meta. What's happening with the Qs? Qs are doing okay. Get rid of old. The indices have been a tough trader today. Looking at all this price action, this was just a stay out of the market. And then we're just slowly drifting down here. So that's when you say, okay, let me switch to something that looks like it's got more movement in it, right? There's going to be more price action. Sorry, there's these are going to do that because of the automated session for the updates that I have going. So here on a standard reversal setting for Tesla, we are starting to get a little bit of a signal here. We might get a bounce out of that. We're not at a clear level, so that's not one that I'm willing to entertain at the moment. Just trying to look for something to set up here. SpaceX is kind of stalling at that 145 area. Let's see what happens. There we go. Come on, baby. Okay, you can see that signal finally kind of confirmed, unconfirmed for a second, and now has reconfirmed with a new signal. So we're still in this trade. We haven't stopped out. That doesn't mean we won't, but we're still in it for now. See if we can get some continuation here. Yeah, Coach is the man. How's the new job, Coach? So does anybody have any other? Somebody was asking me earlier, Momo and Hood. Was it Hood asking me? I'll try and trade into that real quick while keeping SpaceX. Was somebody asking me if there was a sniper on Hood? What was? Ironbird, that's a great question. So I can show you. This is, let me pull this over. So we've done 2 small accounts with this. And the reason I do a small account is because I want to be able to show people that you can take a small account and use options to provide leverage and grow a small account. So at the beginning of the year, I started a $1,000 account, and that was before the PDT rule changed. And over that 6 months, I traded that $1,000 account up to a little over $30,000. And then once the PDT rule changed at the start of June, I decided, okay, let's start another small account challenge, or challenge. I hate saying challenge, but another small account, and see how quickly we can grow that small account. So this is a $2,500 account because that was the minimum that was required to have margin in a lot of these, right? And we started out just kind of slowly growing that. So, we're looking at the capital requirements for each trade. We're trying to keep it between 10 and 15%. This one was a little oversized at 23%. But we're taking, 1, 2, or 3 contracts for a while as we grow the account, right? And in some cases we have losses, but the losses just need to be smaller than the winners, and you're working your way in the right direction, right? So this 2,500 worked up to, we 2x'd it here in, what was that, a little under a month. There were a couple of days I couldn't trade. Summer's hard with kids and travel and all that kind of stuff. And then went on vacation for 2 weeks. I just got back. And the last couple of days, we've worked this up to, I got to put in this Tesla loss. We're probably pretty close to 8,000 now off of 2,500. And we're, what are we? June, July, maybe 2 months into it. So we're growing it slowly. There's been chunks of time where we haven't been trading, but it just that consistency, right? We're looking for, 36% winner, 15% winner. Obviously a 46 loser is not great, but those are the kind of percentages we're looking for, right? And if you can string a bunch of these together in a day, you're in good shape. I usually kind of trade that anywhere from 6 to 12 times a day. Some days a little bit more. Some days a little bit less, depending on the type of day we're having. So, and that file is shared, and you can track that if you want. I can put that in here. Let's see. Copy that link. This is the 2,500 small account. Log. I guess that's right. I want to make sure I'm sharing it and not giving you can access. Let's see. I want to make sure you can't make changes to it. View. Okay. Good. There you go. If you want to follow along there, let's see what. All right, SpaceX is still moving in the right direction. So generally, I'm going to basically play that from our entry up into this 146. I'll probably take a little bit of it off, and then leave a runner up into 150. Maybe not up into 150, maybe into this 147. And then look for another trade. So this will be, right now I'm up, I don't know, 15-ish%. So I'm going to put in a protective stop at break even because I've had a great day and I'm also on the mic and not going to watch it. And if it comes down and takes me break even, it's a free trade now, right? It's a free trade. I don't have to think about it. I'm going to manage it because I'd like to take profits in it. I'd like it to be a positive trade, but I've protected myself in case there's a rollover. Is Amazon struggling today? Yeah, it sure is. Woof. Woof, as they say. All right, does anybody have any questions for me or want me to look at some charts? I've got about oh, I don't know, 7 or 8 more minutes in my session here. If I missed something in chat, please let me know. David, sometimes there's such quick trades generally that I don't cost average as much. I'm usually in, get the percentage that I want, and I'm out. Or I'm in and it goes against me and I cut it quickly and I'm out. So there are times where I have 2 levels that I'm watching and I might add to that at a certain level. But I'm generally in and out of these pretty fast. I put the trade recommendations in here in chat in here, but they happen so quickly that generally I'll do something like I'm watching SPCX into GEX1, right? And then I'll type that in, right? And I type that in here. There's no, Nate Bear is the only one that does trade alerts like that. But I'll type that in here, and then people can pull up SPCX. They can see the GEX level. They can say, okay, I see the signal coming. And then, if I do take a signal, if I do take one, I'll say in SPCX. But by the time I type those things in, a lot of times the trade has already happened. Not only already happened, but profit has already been taken, right? Lori, the gamma exposure levels are these levels here on the chart. I explained a little earlier what those are. The GEX is just a shortened version for gamma exposure, a shortened way to say it. I almost got taken out on that little flush right there. My guess is we're going to range between these 2 levels, and then either up or down. But I think we're going to kind of range here for a minute, just like we kind of did here. Just like we kind of did here. So hopefully you guys took off some profit, 10-15% into that push up. Because my protective stop, I'm going to slide my protective stop down just a little bit so it has a bit of room to maybe hold this level. We'll see what happens here. But I could get stopped out as well. And I'm totally fine with that. Very, 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 very small loss. It's not the end of the world. I've had a great day trading this, so I'm not worried about it at all. Yeah, Matt, just email me. Absolutely. Yeah, just a quick email. Alfred, did you get stopped out on that? Yeah, I was thinking about taking profits up into here, but I was flapping my gums, chatting away. So at any rate, I hope you guys, put a 1 in chat if you have joined DPL this week and took advantage of the discount that was offered yesterday and the day before. How many of you were new and have joined in? That's awesome. I cannot wait to get in here next Monday and really kind of help set everyone up to hit the ground running. Awesome. Awesome. We'll do a bunch of sessions next week, a bunch of extra sessions next week to really get people up and running, and charts the way they want them looking, and terminology and stuff like that. So I'm excited to do those sessions. I always like those. I love teaching. I cannot wait to corrupt your trading mind. That's right. Do you listen to other guys? No, not really. I listen to Nate B and D-Man. Well, there's still a discount going. I believe it's 200? There's still a discount going for sure. And there'll be decreasing discounts going all week. So there's still more. There's more time. Oh yeah, open 200. So my time's almost up here. I look forward to trading with you guys the rest of the week, but then for all you new ones next week, and take advantage of that discount and join us and start the journey. All right, I will talk to everyone later.